Back at the bench press today, and 6.5 Creedmoor, and we're going to load up some 160 grain Hornadies and some 140 grain Nozzlers. Fill them up with Trail Boss, and we're going to make ourselves some subsonics. So if you're a bit like me, before you do a project like this, I haven't loaded any of these before, then you jump on the internet and you do your whole pile of searching, and some of the best results I've found is the first thing you do is drill out the primer pocket. So some go out quite a bit further than what that is, but I drill mine out to 3mm at the moment. They're about 2.1 I think. So we'll drill a few of these out, and then by drilling them out we are putting standard large rifle primers in. If you drill them out slightly smaller, I believe you can use the Magnum primer. From what I understand, if you don't drill them out and use standard large rifle primers, you're very inconsistent from 1,000 down to even 400 feet per second. Using Magnum primers, your consistency goes up to, you know, whatever your target is, around 1,000, but by drilling them out and using standard large primers, your consistency comes right back up. So you can either drill them and use standard primers, or not drill them and use Magnum primers. A bit long-winded, wasn't it? So we're going to drill them and use standard primers. In saying that, for interest's sake, I have large primers as well, so I will try half a dozen. And we'll see how we get on with that. So I just got me a ice cream container for the catch bucket here, and just got 3mm drill bit, and just hold it and full noise. A little bit of pressure, on and off on the pressure. You don't want to go too hard out, otherwise it will bite in, and there we go. So I've got all our shells have been greased up with a bit of lube, and now we'll go through and full size the lot. So I'll whip through and do those. Zero your scales. So we've got the first one loaded up with 10.5 of Trail Boss, and as a packer, this is stuffing for toys, and I read the guy, he just uses a little bit of stuffing.
When you first got breast cancer, that was pretty frightening for me.
0.015, so we'll pull it down a bit. And he reckons it just burns off, doesn't make a mess. Used it multiple times, checked his guns, cleaned his gun, and it just keeps the powder. It's 0.12. Keeps the powder from flopping around in the case, and he reckons a lot more accurate, 0.015. So what we'll do is,
It's hard to perceive our everyday lifestyles have such long-term impacts.
stuff that in,
I don't believe we need to rewrite our ways of living,
and
but knowing what the risks are means that we can make more informed choices.
I'll just push it in there,
So much time on our screens, it's undermining our
pack it down, and then we'll stick another projectile in, and we've set the overall length to 2.700, and there should be 2 ready for testing. So I've got 10.5 grams of Trail Boss and 10.3 grams of Trail Boss, and it would only be up to about there, I reckon. They do say load it up to the top of the shoulder and then work your way back down, which apparently is quite safe to do. But because this guy has been using 10.5 and the velocities were quite good, we'll start there and then I'll go a fraction lower. So we've got our overall length 2.700.
Because we really don't know what we're doing. Sometimes it gets like.
So here we've got our first 4 subsonic rounds, 11.3, 11.5, 10.3, 10.5, and we've got the 160 set at overall length of 2.700, and the 140s is 2.777. It's a guess. I've really just given them room in the magazine, so no big deal there, I don't think. We'll go out, do some velocity tests, something reasonably accurate at the same time.
Spend over $50 on anything in store.
We've got our first trial back with the Trail Boss and trying to run subsonics. So with the 140 grain, both key hold quite badly. 11.5 grains of Trail Boss and 11.3 grains of Trail Boss. 11.5 gave us 1183, decibel of 68.3, and 11.3 grains gave us 1124 feet per second with a decibel of 67.7. And 160 grain both stabilised, and we had the 10.5 grains of Trail Boss gave us 1226 feet per second, which is not subsonic. 77.6 decibel, and the 10.3 grains gave us 1143 feet per second at 66 decibel. So I'll do another I'll do 3 more of the 160s, and I'll drop down to 9.1 grain, 10 grain and 10.1 grain. Let's see what we get.